Hello. Today we are going to talk about philosophy of yoga. Yoga, it is a system that was arranged by sage Patanjali approximately before 2400 years. Sage Patanjali systematized and arranged whole yoga system into his Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Sutras, it is short sentences that has some deeper meaning inside. So in Patanjali Yoga Sutras we can find approximately about 200 sutras that describes the whole yoga system. So Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it is main source of yoga practice that we see today. So the most of yogas that we see in modern life, they all relates or they all should relate to Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Actually, yoga, it is more practical system. And yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, we sometimes also call Raja Yoga. It is the same. In India, there are different philosophy darshanas. Darshana, it is different philosophy school that offers to see this reality in some particular way. So there are at least like 9 darshanas in India philosophy schools. We can call about main like 6, and those philosophy darshanas in India, it is Vedanta, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Nyaya, Sankhya and Yoga. So yoga, it is like one of 6 Indian darshanas that offers to see this reality in some particular way. Word yoga, it means unity. Unity between our individuality, between our I, and between our higher self. In different traditions, we call it differently. For example, life energy, divine energy, soul, God, absolute, creator, universe, consciousness. You know, when they call about higher power, you know, like the whole creator or the highest inner self. So they call about this aspect. So yoga, it is unity between our individuality that we usually relate with our body or with I, everything what we think when we say I. This I, we unite with our higher self. You know, it is like going through different levels of consciousness. This higher self, it's already in us. And for example, you know, how does it work in life? When we see, for example, now this life, we see it through particular schablons of our thinking, of our understanding, of our mind. And there are different levels of consciousness in which we see this life differently. For example, when you were 10 years old, you saw life in some particular way. When you was 20 years old, you saw life a little bit different than in 10 years. When you are 60 years old, you see life even more a little bit different. So same happens here. Our individuality, our ego, it separates us from our true self. And the more we think about us as individuality, the more far away we go away from our true nature. So yoga, it is like going back to your real inner self, who you really are. And it happens by purifying our mind, our inner qualities, by purifying our actions, by purifying our speech, by purifying our thoughts. By doing that, by starting doing the more highest quality actions, speech, thoughts, we become much more real and true, and we, get back to our real true nature. So this process of unity, it happens through purification of our inner world. So if we need to talk about yoga as a philosophy system, so yoga philosophy system, it is related with Sankhya philosophy darshana, philosophy system of India. So there are also some interesting understanding in yoga philosophy. There are word like Purusha, and there are word like Prakriti. It is like, Purusha, it's like a, spiritual part of ourselves, and Prakriti, it is like material part of ourselves. And this life process, it goes when spiritual part of ourself and material part of ourself, they somehow, unites together. Like there is like yin and yang, different symbols, like energy of sun and energy of moon, or for example, positive energy and negative energy, Pingala and Ida. So it is about that. So yoga as word, it means unity, and it means unity between our I individuality and our higher self, that in different traditions we call it differently. As I've mentioned before, it is like divine energy, God, absolute creator, and other words. And please understand that it happens inside of us. It's not somewhere, in outside world. It all happens within us. It all happens in us. It all happens inside us. Also, there is another very important part in yoga as a system, and it is one of the main goals of yoga. It is to learn control our mind, because when our mind is not, when we don't control our mind, we become selfish, then we become more egoistic. When we start to do a lot of negative, bad things to others, and because of that we cannot be happy and we cannot be in harmony. So if to be even a little bit more correct, so please let's understand that this I individuality, it is about our ego. The bigger our I, everything what we think about ourselves, about our individuality, the bigger our ego. And yoga, it is process when we go away from our ego, from our selfishness, from our not real nature. And we go away from that and we go back to our real source, to our real possibilities. And those possibilities in our real higher self, they are much more wider. Our possibilities much more bigger. So when we do yoga practices, they help to practically experience this, this unity of you with your higher, with your higher self. But in life it works like that. You live life and you start to become better from inside. You become more pure. You become more better to other people. You become more, you start doing actions that are more valuable to others. You do not harm, you do not kill, you do not do something bad for others. You say truth, you don't steal, and you do a lot of good things to others that help for other people, that help other living beings. So it is very important in yoga to learn to control our mind, because if our mind is not, if we are not control our mind, so our mind lead us to live life through 5 senses, and it is limited way of life. And by doing that, we get suffering. So in order not to suffer, we need to discipline our mind. We need to train our mind, and our mind, it should be like a helper in our life. It means when you have self-discipline, you start to create this life, and by doing that you can make a lot of good things to others. So in yoga it is very important to control, to discipline our mind. In yoga there are 4 very important aspects, and those are karma, reincarnation, askeza, and tapas. So let's talk a little bit about each one. So what is karma? Karma, it is law of cause and effect. It means action and reaction. It means principle of boomerang. It means when you do something for others, then you get the same back after some time. It means if I do something good for others, it means that somebody will do something good for me. For example, I give somebody an apple, and somebody will give after some time apple for me. So it is principle of karma. Word karma in Sanskrit, it means action, and because we do some certain action, it creates some imprint inside of our mind, inside of our subconsciousness. So Buddha Shakyamuni said about law of karma, very interesting moment. If you want to see how you lived in the past, look at the current situation. If you want to know how you will live in the future, look at your actions and thoughts now. It means law of karma, it helps us to understand that we are responsible for each action, and every action, it gives us some certain results. It means that I do action, and this action will give me a boomerang, will give me some results. So to understand in yoga karma, we need to understand that everything what we do for others, we get the same back. So when we understand law of karma and start to practice it practically in our life, then we become more responsible in our life, and then we understand that everything what we do, it has consequences for us, and if we do something good, we will get back something good. If we do something bad, then we get back something bad. Another very important aspect in yoga, it is reincarnation. What is reincarnation? Reincarnation, it is process of rebirth. It means that after our life, after death, soul, it reincarnates to our body. Reincarnation principle means that it is understanding that soul after death, it does not die and it gets new body and lives new life. So reincarnation process means that there was a lot of previous past lives and there will be a lot of future past lives. So reincarnation, it is very connected with principle of karma, and because of that karma that we create in this life, we get new particular new particular body that relates with our karma. So yogis, people who are practicing yoga, they see life like this. They see that there was a lot of previous lives. They see that there is this life, and they see that there will be a lot of future lives. And because and it depends on what we are doing today, it will give us some particular consequences in the future. So it means if we do something good for others, for example, in yoga, we share knowledge, we share practices. So we create like a karma to get it back in our future lives. So everything what you are doing in your life, the more you are doing it, you will get the same back in the future. So if person do something good, he will get something good back. If person do something bad for others, he will get the same back for himself. And it is very interesting moment because sometimes people think that it's a little bit sounds strange, but actually it is very it is very logical, because why do we need that karma? Why do we need those laws? Because when we do some action, after some time we get same reaction back. And when we get that reaction, we can understand and make better decisions in our life. For example, if I did something wrong to if I did, for example, something bad to others, then after some time, somebody do the same bad to me. And when it comes back to me, I can realize that I did bad thing, and because of that I learn, and after that in my life I do not make such mistakes. So karma, it is very helpful law of universe that help us to become more, that help us to get more knowledge, that help us to start making actions the more quality, the more better. So karma, it is, sometimes people think that karma, it is, it is, they're very scary of karma. So, karma, it is very good principle for people who are trying to develop spiritual, who are trying to develop themselves, who are trying to become more better in their inner qualities. And for such people, karma, it is very, very good, because the more you do something good for others, the more you get good things back. For example, when I do even this video, so when I share something good, I always try to do it as for myself. You know, it sounds maybe a little bit strange, a little bit maybe even selfish, but our main idea is the more we do something good for others, the more we get something good back. So it is very important that we always see this life as we interact with ourselves, and then we try to do as much best as it's possible. So even by doing that, I'm trying to share with you only the most important, only the most, things that can help in your yoga practice. So it is another thing about important aspect in yoga. So it is karma and reincarnation. So now third one, it is Askeza. Askeza, it is austerity, penance. When you go away from your comfort zone, practice penance and self-discipline. So we need Askeza because Askeza help us to grow. For example, when we do yoga practice, when we have Askeza, it help us to become more better. For example, we need to keep asana for some period of time, so we try to do it even a little bit longer. Or we do meditation practice, for example, for 30 minutes, and after some time you try to do meditation practice for 1 hour. So it is Askeza, it is hard, it is not very easy, but by doing that you transform gross energy that are inside your body. So Askeza, it help you to grow and develop your better quality, your self-discipline, that is very important in yoga practice. And the last one, like fourth one, a very important aspect in yoga, it is tapas. Tapas, it is certain energy that you get when you have energy of gratitude and when you do some penance. Let me explain how does it work in life. For example, you do good things for other people, and by doing good things for other people, you get energy of gratitude from them. And when you have energy of gratitude, when you do penance, when you do Askeza, when you do austerity, or for example yoga practice, you transform this energy of gratitude into tapas energy. So tapas, it is like certain particular energy that are inside of you, and when you have a lot of tapas, you can exchange these tapas for absolutely whatever you want. For example, when you have a lot of tapas, you can exchange these tapas for example, spiritual knowledge, for self-growth, self-development, to make something good for other people. Also, when you have tapas, you can exchange it for some kind of desires, wishes, wants, material things. So when you have tapas, it is inside feeling that you can do whatever you want and it works for you. For example, did you notice, have you ever saw such situation in your life when you had some kind of wish or desire, and this desire immediately realized to you? So such situations sometimes happens in life, and it happens because you had tapas energy, and that wish, he used your tapas energy and realized that particular thing in your life. It can be maybe material thing, maybe some other thing. So tapas, it is very important energy, and you need to know that you can exchange tapas actually for whatever you want. But in yoga practice, it is very important to grow spiritually, to develop our best inner qualities, higher qualities, to become better version of ourselves. And it is very useful to use tapas for these needs, because it helps us to become better, and after that it becomes we become better and we can help others to become better. So in yoga it is very important for us to understand this principle of tapas, because when you have tapas you can realize a lot of ideas, a lot of projects, a lot of you can realize, even materialize a lot of things in this life, good things, positive things. And when you have no tapas, then you have no energy, and there is like no possibilities then to realize all those needs and wishes. So those four are like very important aspects in yoga practice. So if you will be able to adapt them into your life, to use them in your life, for sure they will give you very great benefit in your yoga practice, also in your life. So it is of course part of the yoga system as a practice. It also part of yoga philosophy system. Of course there are a lot of many more things that we could talk about in yoga philosophy system, but those are things that are really helpful in life. So for us it is important to understand that yoga, it is more practical way of living this life. Yoga, it is a system that help us to grow, to develop ourselves, and in process of that it help us to start doing good things for others, to share knowledge, to share yoga practices, to become yoga teacher, to do a lot of good things for others. Because you know, karma, we everyone have karma with different people, and those different people, they can be anywhere around the world. Some of them can be in your city, some of them can be in your country, some of them can be in anywhere in the world. And those are the people with whom you created karma in your previous lives. And those people, they are able to hear you, and they're able to get experience from you. So if you will reach as best possible version of yourself, with your inner qualities, with your habits, with your good positive attitude to this life, the more you become better in your yoga practice, probably you are the one and only person who can give some certain knowledge for those people with whom you have karma. So it is very important that if you understand that yoga, it is effective, it is working for you in life, when you start sharing knowledge, when you start sharing practice, those people who have karma with you, they meet with you. They go to your practices, they go to your lecturers, they see your probably videos, and they, when you share knowledge, when you share yoga practices, meditation, pranayamas, they get benefit from that. So in yoga, it is important not only to practice yoga, not only to practice yoga asanas, meditation, shatkarmas, pranayamas, and all over. But in yoga, it is also very important to share knowledge to others. Because when we do that, we return back to people karmic depths that we have. And then those people, they can grow. And because of that, if you are a yoga teacher, so that would be very great if you would be able to share lectures about yoga, share lectures about conscious life, share lectures about yoga practices, share more yoga practices. Don't be afraid of that. Please understand that there are people who understand speech, words that you talk. Don't be afraid of that you don't know something, because you always there are people who knows less than you. So don't worry about that. Always there are people who waiting from you something good. And in yoga it is very important to share it, because when you return back your karmic depths, then you can grow even much more. It means those karmic depths, they like keeping you in some particular level. And when you return your karma, for example, knowledge that you get in the past, so when you share it with somebody, you like give away that karma, you return karma to those people. So please understand that everybody who will come to your practice, they come only because they have karma with you. And when you share knowledge about yoga practice, about knowledge from yoga philosophy, about karma, reincarnation, asanas, meditation, pranayamas, and so on, then those people, they can grow, they can become better, they can become pure, they can remember the way that they were practicing in their previous lives. It is very important, guys. If you come to yoga, please understand that there was a lot of lives in before that. And if you now meet yoga practice, if you now get yoga knowledge, if you now get possibility to experience meditation, yoga practice knowledge, it means that you have karma with all those things. It means that you were practicing yoga in your previous lives. And it's not an accident that you were able to listen this video. It means that in your previous lives, you were practicing yoga practice, you had some certain level of experience, and this level of experience are inside of you. But if you now only beginning, you are probably do not remember that. So when you do yoga practice, you start to this knowledge starts to realize in your life. And the more you share good things, good knowledge about yoga practice, the more you share practices about yoga, the more you become even better in this. Your level of understanding of practice also becomes higher. And then both those people who have karma with you, they grows, and you also grow in this such very great way of yoga. Very interesting moment that to get a higher level of knowledge, it's possible only when you start sharing knowledge with others. So those things from my point of view are very important in our yoga practice. So please, if you have some additional questions, feel free to write it in comments. I hope that you will be able to practice yoga, because yoga practice makes a lot of good positive effects on our regular life, on the way how we understand this world, the way how we relate, what our relation with world, with our people. And it is very, very great, very beautiful, I would say. And it happens because you purify yourself from inside. When you purify yourself from inside, you become more and more closer to your real, true nature, to expanding your possibilities. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you next time. Goodbye.